Welcome to our preview of the Four Nations Tournament. We're going to be ranking things. We're going to be ranking the top 10 players entering the tournament on form. We're going to be ranking every single goalie in the tournament, as well as ranking all of the jerseys in the tournament. And finally, we've simmed the whole tournament using EA NHL 25. And we're going to go over who won the most and who was the leading scorer in the tournament. Welcome back into not a podcast, but just a segment or a show that's...
It looks like one,
yeah,
but it's not.
Very similar and is in the same space with the same people. Actually, I guess slightly different. Luca's not here, and I've been gone for a while. Yeah. Hi, guys. It's
What's
nice
going
to see
on?
you.
Hey, man, welcome back.
Thanks. Why aren't you wearing a jersey? He's wearing one.
I didn't get the memo. You're not wearing a jersey either. If anything, you should be looking at him being like, why are you wearing a jersey? We're not.
Well,
Because he's outnumbered.
For the record, this was the only international jersey I own because my girlfriend is Swedish. And also, I know I've discussed this, but bring back the old blue on the Sweden jerseys.
Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. We'll get into it. We got a lot of things we're ranking here. I'm going to give a quick disclaimer. I've been on vacation for like a month, so I'm out of the loop. I'm going to be doing a lot of this, listening to the lads here, and a little less interjecting, which I'm sure some of you will be real pleased to hear that.
Some people will also be very disappointed to hear that.
No, I'm gonna be just letting you guys kind of talk, because I'm gonna be listening. I got my notepad out. Apparently, since I've left, the Sabres are just incredible.
Heater.
Apparently, the Red Wings also incredible.
Heater.
Apparently, the Sens also on heater.
So everyone in the Atlantic except the Habs.
Yeah, I was about to get to that. Apparently, the Habs.
Well, the Habs were rolling, and then I feel like since the goalie injury, things have kind of taken a turn.
Yeah. It's been tough.
Do you know what time NHL games started at when I was in Mauritius?
Oh, goodness.
I'm going to guess.
Like 2 in the morning?
That's a good guess.
I was going to guess later.
It's 3 a.m.
3.
They were game like it was like I accidentally woke up at 6:30 and the Avs were playing, and I saw that and I was just like, I'm not watching this. I'm on vacation.
Man, I'm going to Austria for like during second round of the NHL playoffs for work, and we're gonna be doing the same thing.
Wow.
We're gonna be waking up at 3.
Legendary. Okay, let's start this thing out though. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's start with the top 10 players in the tournament. We did rank the top 25 players in the NHL entering the year, but this is a different list. This is obviously players who were in the tournament, but it's also based on how people have done this year, how they're heading into the tournament. So, gentlemen, let's start with Thomas. Can I hear your bottom 5 of your top 10?
You mentioned it's a little bit different. I've also kind of ranked them differently in the sense that because it's a tournament format, I kind of approach this like who would I want in those big game situations, in those do or die games where they're like must-win games. So I feel like you'll see that a little differently throughout my list. Starting with number 10, Matthew Tkachuk. Jack Hughes at 9. Number 8, Mikko Rantanen. Number 7, Quinn Hughes. And number 6, Sasha Barkov.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Interesting. Very different than mine.
Jesse, let's hear yours.
Very different.
Let's hear yours.
So I kind of did it more off of like who I think is the best right now, more so than like, except for like, you know, an exception of a couple people. Because yeah, there's a difference between like the 10 best tournament players in the tournament as of like who are the 10 best players now and like who you'd want actually in the tournament.
Like the way I approach this, if I had my pick of 10 players to build a team, like these are not necessarily build a team because that weighs positions in, but these are my first 10 choices of who I'd want on my
That's
team.
fair. Okay, well, I did it based off of like who I think right now are the 10 best players heading into the tournament, like where they are currently this season.
All right, 10-5. Who you got?
Number 10, William Nylander.
Trey Kroner.
Number 9, and this I kind of took into account what you said, but I also just think he's a dog. I'm going with Sid the Kid.
Wow.
Number 8, Jack Eichel. Guy's having an unbelievable season. Number 7, you call this a hot take all you want, folks. Give me Kyle Connor.
What is this?
Man, Kyle Connor's having an incredible year.
Can we continue the list? Can we continue the list?
Okay, fair.
And number 6, I'm going Alex Barkov.
Okay.
All right, so we had Barkov both at 6. That was nice. Other than that, these lists
Not
could have
at
been made
all aligned.
in different eras.
Yeah, I obviously get like wanting Tkachuk in the international tournament. Like I completely get it. Also, how sick would a first line be of Tkachuk, Matthews, and Connor? That'd be such a sick first line for the U.S.
It's a few goals in that team.
Man, if you just look at the season Kyle Connor's having this year, 6th in the league in points, leading the Jets, like has been, in my opinion, the Jets' best player. 30+ tucks this year. Like, give the man his flowers. Like, this guy just always gets slept on. Always. He has been unbelievable this year.
If your list expanded down to 20 players, would he have been there in yours?
Yeah, given the season that he's having, I would have put him on there.
15.
And I feel like there's
In
a
the top
way
15.
of appreciating how good he's been this year without me having to put him in my top 10. Like, I think he's a good player.
That's
I think he's having a good. There's just more well-rounded players. 1, 2 players that I feel like, and maybe this is where we differ because I graded my list more on like it's a tournament, they're must-win games, it's a big stage. I want players who are more so proven in big moments, and that's why I didn't have him on.
So we kind of went at our list a little differently.
Yeah, like for example, there's guys that you named in your bottom 5 that I didn't have on my list, like Jack Eichel, that I considered over Kyle Connor.
Is there someone that you heard on Thomas's list that you kind of regret not having in your list at all?
Maybe Matthew Tkachuk. Like, I think, obviously, Tkachuk is such a big moment type of player. He's had a lot of playoff success the last 2 years, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with at this tourney. Jack Hughes I considered as well. Like, I mean, you give me 5 more spots, I think a lot of these guys are probably in there.
Who's not even on your list? Okay. Well, speaking of that, I mean, I don't want to spoil it too much. Do you guys want to talk about your next 5?
Number 5, Sidney Crosby.
That's fair.
Number 4, Austin Matthews. And then 3, Cale Makar. 2, Nathan McKinnon. 1, Connor McDavid.
It's nice. At number 5, I took Quinn Hughes. Number 4, I took Austin Matthews. Number 3, I took Cale Makar. Number 2, I took Nathan McKinnon. Number 1, I took Connor McDavid. Although I will say this, guys, and it might sound nuts. I don't think I believe this, but I was actually kind of contemplating looking at both players. How much better is Austin Matthews than William Nylander? Like, really? Like, he's better, but like...
He was 10 on your list?
He was 10 on my list.
Yeah.
I don't remember William Nylander scoring 69 goals last year.
Okay, but he's been unbelievable this year. So good last year.
On form, he's not on your list either.
No. And I don't think he should be a top 10 player in the tournament. Like, he's good. He's very offensively gifted. Like, I kind of see him as like a similar player to Kyle Connor.
He's way better than just good, man.
Could see him in a Blackhawks jersey.
I'm telling you, Marner or Rantanen will be in a Blackhawks jersey next year. You can count on that.
Rantanen one could actually happen. That's the crazy part.
I just think Nylander is the past 2 seasons he's had has been unbelievable. And like, he's got more than he's second in the league in goals right now, 33 goals. Like the offense, I think were we talking about it yesterday? The offense is gonna run through Nylander at this tournament. He's their guy.
I think it's pretty fair for you to bring up that point again. Keep in mind, I've missed a month of watching the NHL, so take this with a grain of salt. But still, like with the season that Matthews had just from being out so much and Nylander being there and this list being on form. I don't think there's anything wrong with you bringing that up as a point at all.
Yeah, yes. And I just think, like, you know, Matthews is healthy. Obviously, he's such a force. And it's not like there's that much of a difference between 4 and 10. Like, if you're the 10th player in the best player in the tournament, it's like that's still incredible. But I just think, and what's actually really interesting as an omission, we both didn't have Mitch Marner.
So that's what I was going to bring up, because you've talked about how good of a season Nylander's had, and like Marner's leading the team in points by a good chunk. He's got so many assists,
man. But that's the difference for me. Like, Nylander has so many goals. Like, he's more than twice as many goals than Marner. Like, I think Marner's 16 goals right now. Nylander's 33. Like, there's something to be said about that.
When I was growing up, my coach used to say, an assist is just as good as a goal. But maybe they just said that to make me feel better about myself.
Yeah, that's
it's
loser
not.
Talk.
Complete loser talk.
Yeah,
man. He's getting second assists all the time.
Yeah. What do you think he said to the defenseman?
It hit off my skate in the corner, and we ended up scoring, and just comes to the bench, grinning ear to ear, you know?
There's a reason the term hockey assist exists, you know? Just like, no.
Secondary apples.
There should be tertiary assists. Never mind.
There should be I made eye contact with the play assists.
Tertiary? Is that
like third?
Okay, Z and Pac were using like some big words before the show.
I don't think
I like
saying
all these crazy words.
I don't think tertiary.
And then I'm sitting here like, Are they scheming here? Like, are they just planning to like use some of these words during the show? Are they?
That wasn't the word. You were there when we said it. We haven't used the word yet. It'll happen.
You're absolutely filibustering right now, man.
That's not a big word either. Also, the term "big word" is insane. Sound like you eat crayons when you say "big word." No,
I'm not using those words in Scrabble. I'll tell you that for free.
No, vertiginous is. If someone can use the word vertiginous today correctly, they win.
That was
the candor today has just been off
candor.
the charts.
So candid. Okay, let's move on. It's another thing that we did earlier in the season. We ranked the top 10 goalies in the NHL. Guess what? You hated that list. There's a lot of things you hate that we do list-wise, and I get it. We have another crack at it this time. Again, it's just the goalies that are in this tournament. It's based on form, and unlike the list that you just did where it's the top 10, because there's obviously a limited amount of goalies, and we kind of want the context of who's going in with the strongest set, you're ranking every goalie in this tournament. So let's start with Jesse this time.
At number 12, I'm going with Samuel Ersson.
Kind of looks like Corwin. You see it?
I see it a little bit.
To me, Corbin will always be Paul Byron.
It's kind of ironic, you know. He looks kind of like a goalie. Anyways.
Okay, so at number 11, Ukko-Pekka. At number 10, Kevin Lankinen. At number 9, Sam Montembeault.
Not his name.
At number 8,
Montego Bay.
Aiden Hill. At number 7, Jordan Binnington.
Dude.
There's a lot of Canadians there.
Did you copy my homework?
No.
Why? What's your list?
Swear.
We have the exact same list.
The exact same?
The exact same.
I mean, to be fair,
yeah.
These are the 6 least sexy names on that list.
Yeah, but I think rolling the 3 Canadian goalies like side by side was, I don't know. But
A point has been made. You guys think that as far as goaltending is concerned, Canada is in the bottom part. Like they have the 4th best goaltending out of the 4 nations.
Yeah.
I mean, it really.
I think they have the 4th best starter. I think they probably have more depth. But I mean that doesn't matter because you can only play one goalie.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's actually the exact same.
Exact same. Yeah.
Wow. So then your top. I mean, let's continue. Though.
Okay.
Like, let's talk about it again.
You can read your top half first.
Okay. Number 6, I have Jeremy Swayman. And number 5, I have UC Saros. Number 4, I have Philip Gustafsson. Number 3, the biggest beauty of all time, Linus Omark. Number 2, Jake Onger. Number 1, Connor Hellebuyck.
Very, very similar, and I probably would have the exact same as you. I went 6 Swayman, 5 I put Allmark just because he's like coming back from injury, and I don't know, I know he's been so good this year. So if you want to point at that and like complain,
Tough start. He did,
yeah, but
he was on a
heater
before he got injured.
He was, but I do have him at 5. Then I got Gustafsson at 4, Saros at 3, Ottinger and Hellebuyck.
Ottinger second.
Ottinger second.
Did you have Ottinger second too?
Yeah.
So top 2 goalies in this tournament, American.
Yeah, like one of the top 2 goalies in the tournament might not play a game.
And if we're being real, if you asked us to make this list 3 months ago, Swayman could easily have been
top 3
in the third
probably
spot.
overranked based on
actually just had a tough season.
Maybe even number 2.
Yeah.
That sounds. I just think, man, Saros 3. Hey. He's so good, but he just has not had that great of a year, and I know Swayman hasn't really either, and I don't know. Charles has been he's been good. It's not typical Saros this year.
How much of an, obviously, again, I'm not going to say how much of an advantage you need goaltending to win anything, tournament, regular season, Stanley Cup playoffs, whatever. But this is a pretty short format, and you are still speaking about 12 goalies here who have been selected because they're also like in good form. Like, there's some random names in here, like Samuel Ersson being on this list. Seems kind of random. The whole point being, like, you could play well in this tournament, not based on your name. So, how much of an advantage for the U.S. do you think they truly have versus Canada, let's just say?
I think quite an advantage. Like, I mean, obviously I'm a huge Connor Hellebuyck fan, and although he hasn't been very good in the playoffs, so I'm interested to see what he plays like on the international level like this, where there's a little more where there's some more stakes. But he's so good right now that him alone on like him on a team like Finland he could probably steal a few games because that's how good he's been. Now you stick him with everyone that the States already has. Oh my goodness!
I
don't know.
The interesting part too is just like, you know, who you play in front of is entirely different in this tournament, and obviously all of them have quality, but it will be interesting to see because there's an adjustment, right? Like you read off of each other. A goalie understands like the movement of their defender and the opposite. So I wonder who actually benefits out of that. Maybe Aiden Hill might be the star of this whole tournament.
If
If
he starts,
Canada's got 2 cup-winning goalies. Put it out there.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. Before we rank the jerseys, of course, if you're enjoying what you're watching, of course, give the video a like. And if you are just like, I cannot go on any longer listening to these guys, they need to know my opinion of how much I hate what they've already said. Of course, type it below and we'll mention it on a future show. Maybe the next podcast that we do. Because this is not a podcast. I don't know why you keep calling it that.
I never said that.
Let's hear it.
Because it's not.
Let's hear the Kyle Connor slander.
Yeah.
I want it.
Let's rank the jerseys. We might not all be wearing jerseys today, but we're all wearing sweaters.
You guys are looking cozy over there.
It's kind of hot
outside.
here. But let's take a look at the jerseys. Should we all just have our own list, or should we just go one by one with this jersey? Or sorry, should we just go one by one and I'll mention, you know, the jersey, I'll show it, and we'll kind of just discuss it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we can do that.
Yeah, and we just say where we ranked it.
I think we'll spend more time on each jersey if we do that. So,
all right, let's start things off with Finland's jersey. I am usually a massive fan of Finland's jerseys, like huge. We differ on this because someone here really doesn't like it. I think it's just kind of mediocre. I think they, technically speaking, have the second best jersey here out of the 4 teams because I really don't like 2 of them.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, I don't know. What do you guys think of Finland's jersey? I just think it's the sleeves.
I don't even think it's that. I think Jesse said something and it kind of got in my head and now I can't unsee it. I just think their crest is so nice.
Yes.
And when you look back to their history of like being at the World Juniors, being on the international stage in the Olympics, they always have such nice jerseys when they show off that crest. And I think the text is just far too big and it kind of outweighs everything else. And that's the first thing your eyes go to. And in that sense, I just think they could have done a little bit more or a little bit better. Like, it's not awful to look at, but I just kind of feel like it's a little bit disappointing. I don't know.
Yeah, I just would have liked to have seen the actual crest way bigger. I think the Suomi, like, it's massive. It looks way bigger than the logo. It just has a weird look to me. I'm just not crazy about it. I'm not like this is the ugliest jersey I've ever seen.
Are you surprised by how much these cost? You did not know that?
$400.
Oh, yeah. You could,
Oh yeah.
Does this come with a seat too?
Come on down.
What is that?
Come on down.
Comes with the player.
$400
Yeah.
for that? No.
Well, I'm pretty sure the highest end Fanatics NHL jerseys are $500.
More than that, because this is the premium. This is not even like the on ice one. This is just stitched, customized. The whole point of why I looked it up is like sometimes the font can really save it. You got to see it with the numbers on here. I think it looks all right, but it looks
better. It looks better.
It looks better. It looks a bit cartoonish. I see what you're saying. Like I like their international ones better than this. Is in like, you know, the double IHF stuff. Yeah, $400. Oh Jesus, Fanatics, send us one for free. That ain't hitting the cart.
Where do you have it ranked?
I think I have it at 3.
I do too. I have it at 3 as well.
Okay. Well, let's go over the next one then. Let's go over the USA's. I guess I'll start with this one. I think of the USA's jerseys of the past however many tournaments, this is quite easily the most boring.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
I think it's so boring. Like this
I feel like they're just trying to make it some modern look, especially with like the font.
Looks like Captain America. Like,
Yeah,
that's
kinda
what
like-
I am. Like,
like
where's
a-
the shield?
like a boring one.
The
now.
font's also warped in kind of this weird way, and I just think if you look back at some of their classics and what they can do with not only their colors, but like with the whole stars and stripe theme, this just does not have that.
This looks like a flat 4th jersey for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Or like a crew neck that you buy at like
Yeah.
American Eagle.
This is an unbranded piece of merch that just happens to be branded.
Yeah.
I'm not into it.
I just feel like with how good their team is and the potential history that they can write at this tournament, like really announcing themselves as like, no, we're the best team in hockey, which I think when we've talked about their roster, it's like they're loaded. And then you're going to look back and these are the jerseys. It just feels like they could have done way more.
$500 for the authentic one. No name. Just nothing on it. Pre-tariff. And it's like, look at that. There's all the sizes are in there too. I think it's going to stay that way. And the logo, that looks like an NBC logo.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Or a NASCAR race.
Yeah, just flat.
Yeah,
It's
not the nicest US jersey you've ever seen.
It's the most boring of the four nations. It is in fourth. That's why there's a 4 on it.
I think we all.
I had it at 4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at 4 too.
it's disappointing.
Just boring.
Yeah.
They've got good jerseys. Yeah. All right, let's move
So
on.
that means you had Canada at 2.
Whoa.
Okay,
whoa.
not spoil. Not spoil. Sorry, we all know
was
he's
that?
wearing. He's wearing the jersey.
Don't speak on my behalf.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. This is the nicest jersey in the whole tournament. It's number 1. We only have 2 left, and we've already done the 3-4 thing. Or
Finland was number 2 for you.
yeah, okay. This is number 1 jersey for me. Not the 2 nicest left. For sure not. I don't know. I just said that. But this one is the nicest. And you really have to see the small details, I think, to appreciate it. It's the Sweden one. We've debated. There's there's 2 tribes when it comes to the colors they use. They use a much different, darker navy blue here versus like this kind of royal blue, which I agree with you. I think that looks nicer, but this still looks pretty good.
It does. And the actual detail on the crown. The detail on the crown is really cool. Like it's a really nice stitching, and what I like about Sweden is like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like they didn't try to complicate things too much. They're just sticking to their roots, and it's one of the coolest international jerseys in the game.
The embroidery on the Nylander one, someone bought it. Like there's that subreddit hockey jerseys, wonderful subreddit by the way. If you're looking to buy jerseys, use that. They have a great guide of who to use and who not to use. And people, they have like 20 jerseys. It's crazy. Plus, I've never seen you guys think I have a problem with buying this stuff? I found my community. But anyways, someone bought it, and if you look at the close detailing,
like on the numbers,
yeah. Look at that. Look up close.
I like the font for the numbers too. Even the nameplate is very clean. I think my one complaint is I think the yellow, at least in this photo, it just seems a little too pale. Like this is more vibrant and the blue is darker, so it doesn't pop as much, but I still think it's like the nicest design.
I like this a lot. Don't get me wrong. But this is almost like, I don't know, this looks like just a more modernized look. Like I'm fine with this. They're just different. And finally, the third best in this, unless you guys put it lower, I don't even remember.
I have this at number 2.
Canada's. Jesse, I think you kind of summed it up best. I'll let you use your metaphor. I think it was quite apt.
Well, because I may or may not have one being sent to me, I'm going to...
Oh, we're doing one of those? Do you want me to... Okay, so I'm going to say something with the jersey that definitely solely represents what I think and not that of someone else in the room. I didn't hear them say it and then say it myself. I actually just think this myself.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
To me, just me, this looks like
something that a beaver would be wearing in a gas station on the side of the Trans-Canada Highway. little stuffed beaver. Not that it's a bad thing.
That's just to me, though.
Yeah.
I said that.
Yeah, right beside where you'd like buy like one of those maple syrup things that are in the shape of the Canadian maple leaf.
We're simpatico. I don't know how you knew the detail of that analogy better than I.
Me neither, man.
Because it wasn't you who said
I know.
Can we
never said
say like a couple of good things that we like about this jersey? One, I think the cream
Won't take long.
is very nice.
Can I see it on this angle?
The cream color, they did well for that.
You know when you have those like movie theater those movie poster quotes? Yeah. The cream's quite nice.
Cream's
Thomas Poggernich Barnum.
The more I see it like this, I actually kind of don't mind it.
Some nice details in the maple leaf.
The more he sees that the sizes are sold out and that he has one waiting for him in the mail, he kind of likes it a little more.
Yeah. The numbers are a little weird.
No,
I don't like the numbers.
I think you were on. I think this looks kind of off-brand. The numbers really just kind of boring. Like the whole theme is that it's like heritage, and as you were kind of saying, something you'd see on like the pond with your friends as you're playing. Yeah. Why is it so modernized and sharp and jagged edge? Like this actually looks like the font they already use for the Nike jerseys, which might be the worst part of the Nike jerseys right now. I'm just not that into it at all. It's not the worst, and it's a Canada jersey, so I'm never going to hate on it, but it's not that nice.
They definitely went for like this almost like a cartoony or animated feel this year. They really were focused we're not going to stick to the traditional stuff. We're going to kind of give it, and you can see Fanatics, the NHL clearly had their hands on this a little more. IHF jerseys, we would never see anything like this from an IHF jersey, unless I'm wrong.
No, look, I mean, the biggest thing is they can't use they're not using the double IHF stuff, which actually is great for Canada because sometimes it's a little
nice
boring.
to shake up.
Exactly, shake it up. It's just this one kind of looks like the side of a Tim Hortons cup.
Yeah,
and I know that joke's been made. It's not original, but just like it just genuinely looks like that. This could be maple fudge packaging.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And like, not the good stuff.
Yeah, it does have a very
stuff.
like touristy, like tourist shop feel to it.
When I was in Mauritius, they sold maple syrup, and all of it just had stereotypical Canadian branding, which was really funny. And it was Maple Joe's. I was like, this is what they think of us. There's a guy in a lumberjack shirt just called Maple Joe. This is what Maple Joe
How much did it cost?
Would wear. I don't know. It was like 800 rupees. So I don't remember what that is.
Wow.
It's like, that's not that much.
No?
I don't get, when they use like currencies that have really high numbers, it's just really confusing.
Yeah, this would be like, that'll be 5,000. I'm like,
whoa!
Excuse me?
And someone goes, no, don't worry, I got that. That's cheap.
Yeah,
Takes out like $3 American.
Yeah.
Also, you know what I realized too? Sorry, I guess they're only wearing the one jersey, right? Like they don't have a home and an away jersey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They probably don't want to sell that many.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stock
Yeah.
to sit on, especially for that USA one.
Yeah. $500.
just going in on the jersey.
Let's go to the final part that we got here. So the update for EA NHL 25, you actually want to play the Four Nations tournament. It's live right now. They have a free-to-play weekend coming up as well. That'll be probably after the tournament. If you have an Xbox Game Pass subscription, it's free to play there. But yeah, we also simmed the entire tournament 20 times to see who came out on top the most, and we have our findings. It's definitely not in the order of how good their jerseys look. So, who do you think won the least, and how many times out of 20?
I think Finland won the least. I'm gonna say they won twice out of 20.
They won once, and they
Okay.
are at the bottom with the second best jersey. Who do you think won the tournament the second least amount of times?
I'm gonna say Canada, and I'm gonna say 7 times.
It is Canada,
Wow.
which, but it's 4 times.
4 times.
Why did you guess Canada?
I don't know, it's a sim. Crazy things happen.
They like goaltending in these sims, I feel like. You know,
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
that, like if you look at the overall rankings, which we'll have on screen right now, like Canada's goaltending definitely is probably what's bringing them down because US has a 99 overall. They're the only team in the game to have a perfect rating overall. Canada has 96, Sweden has 97, and Finland has 92. So no shocker that this has gone that way. And the team with
It's
the
crazy that Sweden
Sweden's
actually has a
better
higher overall than
than
Canada.
Canada.
It's
Yeah.
got to be the goaltending.
The goaltending definitely
It's
has a
gotta be.
lot of weight then, yeah.
Yeah,
Good
Sweden,
defenseman too.
Sweden second, USA number 1. How many times do you think they won the tournament though?
So what are we
Out
at?
of
4. We got so far there's 15 remaining wins
Yes.
between these two teams.
Yes.
So I'm going to say the USA won 9 and Sweden won 6.
They won 8, Sweden 7, close enough. But
Good guess.
That's really
Thomas.
close.
is that how
Good
you
guessing.
guys would rank the teams in this tournament? I don't think so.
No, I don't think Sweden's gonna beat Canada.
It's one of these things where there's just so few games and there's so many skilled players where I honestly feel like anything can happen. And I think like Finland only won once too. I think we're discounting them as well in the sense that like they can. It would not surprise me if they go in and they beat Canada. If they beat
Yeah,
USA.
but they don't have Heiskanen. Such a big loss, man. Like their back end is not good, and they lost Hakanpää. Like I just think
That's
yeah.
a buttery name. Hakanpää.
Yanni. I just think that Finland has like reached their point where like they arguably lost their second most important player.
Well, Joel Armia has been scoring a ton of shorthanded goals recently. So
Jets legend, man.
Habs legend, Sabres legend.
He said Joel.
Wow.
He said Joel in the road trip video, and I'll die on that hill because we literally have footage of it. But Joel Armia, former Jet, let's go.
Yoel.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how it turns out, but like I feel like these sims are always like a little bit off. They're fun to kind of look at, but
I like the variance that the sim gave us though. The fact that
sure.
like the most a team won out of 20 was 8
It
times.
was 8. No one like dominated the
which-
tournament.
yeah.
But to speak to what you just said there, it's just such a short tournament. One of these goalies could just go on a heater. Said Urson could be the best goalie in this tournament. It could happen, even though he doesn't start.
Or Montembeau.
Who's going to start for
Probably not.
Sweden? Allmark?
I think Allmark will.
I think
If he's
too.
fully healthy, I think he's probably. I mean, I ranked him lower than Gustafsson, but if he's fully healthy, I feel like that's the guy.
Gustafsson's been having a good year, but I mean, I think Allmark's the guy.
We did the same thing for leading scores. Who do you guys think came out on top as the person who led this, the tournament in scoring the most?
The most?
The most. We have all the numbers, but it's kind of more just interesting. There's someone who clearly had the most.
Given that the States won the most and that he's on the cover, I feel like he gets a little cover boy boost. I'm going to say Jack Hughes.
That is correct.
Ooh, that is correct.
It's correct.
That is correct.
Nice, Thomas.
He gets-
Man,
Very
I've
nice. Trying to heater.
been doing some pretty good
It's
guesses
as if
over
you
here.
may have looked at all of this
I
stuff and didn't tell us.
swear I did not look at it. I saw Matt sent the messages. I'm like, I'm not looking at any of this. I want Z to read it, and I want to be surprised.
I'm
Fair
a
enough.
cover boy living on the west side. Yeah, number 5. Or 5
Hero.
times.
Hero.
5 times. Barkov 4 times, which is kind of
I
nuts.
would never would have guessed
Kinda
that.
nuts. Matthews 2 times, and a bunch of other people
So
too.
no
Connor
Canadians.
McDavid just not there.
Vanishes
not there.
on the
Guy
international stage.
disappeared. Guy disappeared.
When we
into-
needed him most.
Yeah,
he
into
vanished.
maple fudge packaging.
Man, that Canada-USA game on the 15th is going to be
An eyesore.
electric. Oh, my man, it's going to be so sick now. It's just going to hurt my eyes.
Actually,
You guys
I don't
remember
care
when
who's
the
playing.
NFL had those color rush jerseys?
Yeah, they're
Ugh.
nice.
That's no, they were not
No.
nice.
Some of
So-
them-
some of the
sick.
jerseys were nice.
Yeah.
The uniforms were just like all of them were too much. But I think the one thing we didn't mention, which clearly the NFL rush thing went into, is it's mostly kids. That this is like marketing for kids. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
kids will buy them, but it's like all of your best memories about sports when you're a kid like revolves around what a player was wearing.
Yep.
Yeah, true.
Like it's crazy. So.
Also, everything, I was having this conversation yesterday, everything just feels better, and like sports were just so much better when you're younger. I feel like
You're just a
if
kid, nothing else
you're
matters.
a kid growing up watching this tournament 10 years from now, you're gonna look at these jerseys and be like, man,
These
they don't
were
make
sick.
classic jerseys like this anymore.
You know
this
what
is
I
the
mean?
best
Oh
tournament,
my
and here
God,
we are
yeah.
complaining about
Yeah,
them.
that's true. I agree with you. It's gonna happen. We all do it. They're crap jerseys from when we were kids that now you look back and you.
The World Cup of Hockey, like those Canada jerseys,
Terrible.
10 years later, like they're not nice.
No, that's
No.
also a fair point. Does anyone, if you have nostalgia for that, hit up the comments
Yeah.
because those suck.
Those Team Europe jerseys with that E
Don't even
logo.
remember.
Oh, they were kind of weird.
Our final thing before we get out of here, we each have one hot take to give, except for me, I don't because I didn't watch hockey for like a month. So
Yeah.
the hot take would be hot just because it would come from a place of zero knowledge and education. You're first.
Just on the topic of Kyle Connor, I'm going to say he leads the tournament in goals.
Okay.
You better with that where you put him on that list.
Don't let me down, Connor. Please.
It's a threat. Please.
Sweden wins the whole tournament.
Wow.
And they look good doing it.
They will. And I feel like for a country that everyone knows the World Junior stats, how they make the finals every year and they never win, they'll win this tournament.
Hot take. I've changed my mind. I got one. Someone will throw their Team USA jersey onto the ice, realizing it just doesn't look that good.
So it has nothing to do with team performance?
Not at all. They
No.
could win.
They're going to win.
They could win, and they'll be like, why am I wearing this? And they're just chucking it. All right, well, that's the end of the episode.
Not a podcast.
Yeah, I didn't know what to call
Not
it
a
now.
podcast.
This is the end of not a podcast. It's not what you just watched, so don't go away thinking that. What you can go away thinking is, I'm going to type what I hated most about what these guys said or what I agree with most. So go ahead, comment, like the video. Always helps us out. Of course, subscribe to the Bar Down channel. Can't call it new anymore, but we could call you a new subscriber.
Wow, that's a
Kyle
pretty good
Connor.
selling point. Not a top 10 player.
Yeah, a lot of top 10 players from the Habs on that list,
No, it's nothing to do with the Habs, man.